We've seen Magneto as a villain. We've seen him as a hero. But in Avengers Doomsday, we need to see him as a survivor. Let me explain exactly what I mean. For decades, Magneto has been one of Marvel's most complex characters. Not just powerful, not just dangerous, but layered. A Holocaust survivor turned revolutionary. A freedom fighter who sometimes crossed into terrorism. A man who genuinely believes he's saving mutant kind, even when the world sees him as a monster. But what happens to someone like that when the universe itself is ending? When reality is collapsing? When ideology no longer matters? And there are no sides left to win? That's the version of Magneto I want to see in Avengers Doomsday. If Avengers Doomsday does lean into the incursion storyline from the Time Runs Out story arc, if multiverses begin colliding the way they do in the comics, everyone will face extinction on a cosmic scale. We've already seen multiverse incursions teased in the MCU, and we know that the X-Men will appear in Avengers Doomsday. With Magneto included, the MCU has an incredible opportunity. In Magneto 2014 issues 18 to 21, during the Last Days arc leading into Secret Wars, we saw what this looks like, and it's not what you'd expect. When the incursions reach their final stage, Magneto doesn't try to conquer the chaos, and he doesn't declare mutant superiority. Instead, he reflects on his past, on the X-Men, on his role as a father, and on the cost of decades of war. Because in the Last Days arc, Magneto doesn't fight for dominance, he fights for dignity. He reflects on his legacy, and he does it all with the knowledge that his strength may not be enough. Before we dive into Magneto's choices, let's understand the scale of the problem. What actually is an incursion? An incursion isn't just a multiverse collision, it's a countdown to annihilation. In the comics, an incursion occurs when two universes collide, and the point of impact is both Earths. Unless one Earth is destroyed before the timer runs out, both universes are erased, completely wiped out. No cosmic failsafe, no Infinity Gauntlet solution, no Avengers Assemble moment. It's a moral crisis, not a battle. Who lives? Who dies? And who makes that decision? When discussing incursions, we usually only hear about it from the Avengers or the Illuminati's perspective, debating whether destroying another Earth is even justified. But what about someone outside of that room? Someone like Magneto. How does a man defined by survival react when faced with the ultimate extinction event? That's where the Last Days arc becomes essential, and as Magneto prepares for the incoming incursion, he doesn't approach the end of the multiverse as a strategist. He approaches it as a man taking inventory of his life. First, he learns about the incursions from Namor, who at the time is aligned with the Illuminati. Magneto understands immediately, if Namor and the so-called heroes fail, someone else has to be ready. Someone willing to push further and pay a cost no one else will. So Magneto prepares for war against inevitability. He acquires a highly unstable strain of mutant growth hormone, amplifying his powers beyond natural limits. Every dose could rupture his brain, kill him instantly. He ignores the warnings as the alternative is oblivion. He also seeks out Sugarman, the grotesque geneticist infamous for pushing mutant biology to its limits. Sugarman provides mobile power amplifiers, devices that push Magneto's Omega level abilities even further. Now consider this, he's stacking dangerous enhancement drugs on top of experimental amplification tech. Think about the level of desperation here. He isn't just taking a risk, he's turning his own body into a suicide bomb made of magnetic energy. He knows he won't survive, and he chooses to do it anyway. He's just looking for that slim chance of this universe's survival. This isn't about ruling the future or proving mutant superiority. This is about buying time, hope, and the possibility that the universe survives. There's beautiful irony here. The world sees him as a villain, a conqueror, a madman, and now, in the face of annihilation, he positions himself as the one willing to die to save it. During the final incursion, Magneto doesn't fight alone. He's paired with his daughter, Lorna Dane, her mutant name being Polaris. Their relationship has always been complicated, shaped by ideology, absence, and expectation. Magneto never just wanted Lorna to be safe, he wanted her strong, hardened, ready for the war he always believed was coming. But in these final hours, that certainty fractures. For the first time, he speaks to her without agenda. He says, "Everything I've done, all those terrible things, the pain I inflicted on others, on you, was to make this world a better place for mutants. When people look back at my actions through the lens of time, I want them to see that I was right. I wanted mutants to rule. Now, I just want them to survive. Polaris warns him that pushing his power this far is suicide. He responds calmly, "If that's the price I must pay, then I'll die." He also goes on to reframe his mission. "For so long, I sought to depose Homo sapiens as the rulers of the Earth. Mutants, after all, were the next logical step in dominance life. But now, in order to save my people, I must fight not only for mutants, but for Homo sapiens as well." This is a Magneto we've never seen before. Not a conqueror, not a revolutionary, a father fighting to save life itself. As the final battle begins, he even drains Polaris' power to shield her, shifting the burden of stopping the incursion onto himself. He becomes the one who burns out, so that she has a chance to survive. In that moment, Magneto makes an incredibly selfless decision. So how does the final incursion even play out? Magneto and Polaris face the other Earth's onslaught, a relentless army of sentinels. Using the mutant growth hormone, amplifiers, and additional energy drawn from Polaris, Magneto annihilates them one by one. Each surge pushes his body past breaking point, aneurysms forming, forces erupting from within, energy exploding like stars igniting. He siphons the Earth's bioelectric energy to continue the fight. This is how the world ends. I have no choice but to bear witness. I will not flinch. For a brief moment, it seems like he might succeed, but the universe is collapsing and his body cannot endure the strain. He launches himself towards the opposing Earth in a final act of defiance, trying to push it back. Polaris watches, hopeful, but ultimately, Magneto cannot stop the inevitable. The final image is haunting. His helmet drops to the ground, a silent testament to a man who gave everything for a universe that never forgave him. Polaris reflects, "My father always hated this world, hated these people, but still, he tried." And that, more than any victory or failure, captures exactly what makes this version of Magneto so compelling. What makes the Last Days arc resonate isn't spectacle, it's character. Magneto reflects on a lifetime of choices, the wars he waged, the lives he destroyed, the ideology he championed. He questions whether his crusade truly benefited mutant kind, or whether it only deepened the divide. Even in Magneto's final moments, he says to himself, "Charles, why didn't I see?" Almost as if he has just realized something new about Professor X's perspective. Yet even knowing the cost, that his body will not survive the power he wields, he continues. He sacrifices himself not for dominance, not for victory, but for the slim chance that life continues. This is the Magneto the MCU should embrace, a man facing the end of everything, reflective, sacrificial, self-aware, and human, understanding the moral cost of power and the stakes of survival. If Magneto is the one to make the ultimate sacrifice in Avengers Doomsday instead of an Avenger, would that be the best redemption in MCU history? Tell me why, or why not, in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Magneto's last moments, and the comics that might inspire moments in the MCU, hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more. And if you're still craving more Marvel Comics content, then make sure to check out my Marvel Comics playlists, or check out the rest of my channel where I upload content just like this every single week. But for the meantime, peace, peace, peace!